So I tried this on Facebook Live earlier, and it failed miserably, so I'm going to have to upload this to YouTube. Again, I apologize for the poor videography skills. Y'all all know by now I'm not a videographer. I'm not going to edit these. I've tried to censor myself, but there's a lot of stuff I need to touch on, and in a very short period of time, I'm going to do so. So the first thing I want to touch on is over the past several months and over the past year, you've heard me absolutely blast the Black Lives Matter movement, and I've lost some friends over this too. Now, I have had the opportunity, as many of you know, I believe God puts people in and out of our life for a reason, to speak to a young man at work who is a co-worker of mine who happens to be a member of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I was a little hesitant to speak with him at first because of what we see on TV and what we see in the news and all that. But I also realized that you have to give people a chance, and there's a reason that I was put in that position to speak and get to know him. That movement, what we see on TV is not what the movement is about. Now, that said, I owe some people an apology to a degree, and I owe an explanation of my take on it. Now, I don't for 1 second condone any kind of racial injustice, which definitely exists. I'm not blind to that. In America, in the world, there is injustice, there is racial division. That is against God's will. Okay, we are all God's children. So I want to make this crystal clear. I do not believe that there's no such thing as racial injustice. I don't necessarily believe in white privilege or any of that stuff, but I know that as a black or Hispanic in America, you lead a much different lifestyle than I do because of the color of your skin or the tone of your skin or your accent, and that's wrong. I don't disavow the knowledge of that. I understand that there are bad police officers, although the vast majority are good. There are going to be bad ones. Trust me when I say that the good police officers, which makes up the majority, want the bad ones gone more than anyone. So let's let that be known, okay? That said, regarding Black Lives Matter, I realize what the movement is about. I just don't think that while it's okay to bring things to light, as a parent, we're often told with small children that when they do something bad, if you acknowledge it, then you are condoning that behavior. So I feel like almost acknowledging racism and things of that nature is condoning it, and I don't condone it. I think racism is a learned behavior, and it can be unlearned. I teach my son that we're all part of one race, the human race, and therefore all lives do matter. Now, I understand where, thanks to my coworker Abdullah, I understand where these people, and I don't mean these people in a bad way, are coming from, because the majority of the people who are in BLM are not out there rioting and looting and really messing it up for the people who actually want to affect positive change. I get that, and I thank him for bringing that to my attention too, because obviously if what you see is what you see, then that's what you're going to be led to believe. So obviously I don't want to be the sheep led to the slaughter, and I thank him for that opportunity to explain that to me. That doesn't mean I'm changing my whole world views, but my belief on that whole matter is, don't acknowledge. For future generations, we need to come together as a people and teach them that we're all part of the human race. We're all God's children, not to condemn, more or less to condemn racism that exists today and not condone it. So you make of that what you will. I'm not denying it. I'm simply saying we don't need to bring it out any more than it is. It can go away. I do believe in Dr. King's dream. So, yes, I understand the Black Lives Matter movement. I just don't necessarily condemn it or condone it. Or I just think that we're all human beings and we all need to act accordingly. So that said, moving on to the next portion of my video here. This morning, Barack Obama gave another speech about how he does not think that President-elect Trump's victory, stunning victory, mind you, was, I'm shifting gears here back to politics, had anything to do with America rejecting his political ideology and whatnot. President Obama, again, making something about himself, not a shocker. He's just as narcissistic and self-centered as Donald Trump is. There's no question about that. However, make no mistake about it. Please make no mistake about this. Donald Trump is not the devil here. Donald Trump is not the bad guy. He is not the one that, he's not that guy. Make no bones about this. He's who he is. He's a narcissistic person as well. He has no tact, but he never claimed to be a politician either. I don't think he expected to win. I think he was trying to affect change. So, in essence, President Obama, yes, his victory was exactly what you say it wasn't. It was a rejection of your policies and your world views. It was a rejection of the establishment, which you represent in its totality. It was a rejection of Hillary Clinton and the establishment. It was a rejection of George W. Bush and the establishment. Dick Cheney and the establishment. It was a rejection of all of you establishment politicians, Republicans and Democrats, who have done nothing to help this country but further divide us. And I understand that a lot of Trump's words have been very divisive, thanks to the media, and I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I'm willing to give this man a chance because he's not one of you, to my knowledge. Now, mind you, he's closer to a Democrat than Hillary Clinton. She's owned by Wall Street. So when you say it wasn't a rejection of the establishment, you're acting quite foolish. It absolutely was a rejection of what's been the status quo. America's sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, you whiny little kids that are out there protesting because Trump won and she got more popular votes, as they call it. Oh, do away with the Electoral College. Well, the reason the Electoral College is there is because Hillary Clinton, between the city of New York, the 5 boroughs, and Southern California, won those popular votes by almost 2.5 million. But she only won the total national popular vote by 600,000. So if we went by the popular vote without the Electoral College, Southern California and New York City would determine the fate for the entire country. How is that democratic or fair? It seems you only want this to be fair when it works in your favor, when you're a leftist. You only care about free speech when it's your speech. You only care about these things when you believe in it. And that is not how America works. It's not how it was intended to work. Our founding fathers were ahead of their time. So you all need to just suck it up. America's going to move forward with or without you. This morning, a group of anti-Trump protesters who were paid by the Soros people decided to block traffic in one of the major cities. I think it was Chicago. Don't quote me. I haven't found the story online yet, but I know I saw it on the news briefly. I think it was either Chicago or Philadelphia. I don't remember. And there was a 4-year-old girl in an ambulance that couldn't get through because that ambulance didn't want to run over a bunch of people. That 4-year-old black girl is dead now because a bunch of whiny, butthurt people were protesting the results of a democratic election, which, if anything, despite rigged machines, despite media bias, despite even the Republicans being against Donald Trump, he still managed to win. Which means that really you can be president in this country if you can do 3 things. If you can touch on emotions and frustration and make a catchy slogan, you can pretty much become president. Because when people get fed up and pissed off, they want to hear what they want to hear. That's human nature. So President Obama, Donald Trump is exactly the opposite in terms of he is not an establishment politician. Now, he may prove to be one, because if he blames you for the mess we're in once, I'm going to turn on him just as quickly as I turned on you, and just as quickly as I turned on George W. Bush. I'm hoping and praying that Donald Trump does well. I don't know what's going to happen. A few people preaching intolerance. Shame on you. That's not American. I'm out.